It's a, you know, I feel like shit is weird. I feel like I'm at a weird point in life where I don't know. I wake up confused. And this has been going on for a while. You know, right? Like, I feel like the toughest points of my day are like nighttime, like about to go to sleep, and as soon as I wake up. Those are the times where I feel like I'm at the most lowest, you know, and I just feel lost and confused and angry and upset, and I guess anything having to do with sleep. Okay? Because even when I tried to take a nap, like for example this evening or this afternoon, I was like, okay, I'm tired. I should go take a nap. I'm going to go rest and relax. But the noises outside were bothering me. And I felt so irritated, and I felt guilty and shame. 1:33 on my little clock thing on the camera. For taking a nap. Because we've been so conditioned to believe that we have to be constantly working, constantly doing things in order to accomplish our goals and do what we need to do, or do what they want us to do. Because just imagine, okay, age 0, let's say to 8, I was reading this book about fucking, ¿cómo se llama eso? Spirit animals, spirit guides. And they said that like from age 0 to 8 is when we're in the astral realm, or spirit realm, as it's referred to in Avatar: The Last Airbender, or even The Legends of Korra. That's when you're, I guess you could say, vibrating at your most highest, and you can see these beings or these other frequencies because you're vibrating at that frequency, right? And I'm assuming since you're up there so much, like vibrating so high, you can also see the lower entities, right? Because you can go through the whole range, like let's say vocals, right? Like you have a wide range, okay? If you know anything about singing, at least. Hopefully that was like a good analogy for you. But like, imagine that, right? Like you can either sing, let's say, really fucking low, or really fucking low, and then up to whistle notes, whistle tones. So, yeah. Because I feel like children are the most powerful. Okay? Because like they hold such high vibrations, right? And they can illuminate the darkness. In the dark, let's say these dark entities, for example, growing up in a toxic household. These dark entities don't want your light to shine into their shadows, into their shadow sides. So it's like one brings in the worst out of our parents or whoever is taking care of us as a child. And let's just say they are toxic, okay? Because in my case they were and are. Let's say, okay, as a child, you just have this such a bright light, and your shining affects them, and again, shines a light in the darkness they do not want to face within themselves. Okay, and this is fact. We are light beings before we are this physical body, this avatar. Okay? So that's important to remember, because we're literally light packed into this vessel, channeling through this body. Okay? So it's important to recall that, because then it just makes more sense when you use that quantum physics of it. Or I would even call it basic knowledge, because I think everyone should know this. It's not so complex or so high level as they make it seem in school, right? Because they make us think, oh, like, I have to go through all these programs, all these levels in order to get up there. But there's no end. Just imagine you're at a company, right? And you're like, okay, well, I obviously don't want to get paid minimum wage. And you work all your life. Or for example, okay, I don't know if you've watched this show, but I'm still in the first episode. Inside Job, okay? Reagan, this character, wanted to be the president of Cognito Inc. She went to MIT, I think, at the age of 13 and shit, and, like, she just worked her ass off her entire life to become president. 6:55. And as soon as, like, it was that day, the boss, or the president, whatever, I don't know, JR, okay, he's like, oh, president, let me bring in Brett, right, this random dude he met that day, kidnapped him, and brought him to the lab and said, okay, now you work for me. It's all a game. My point in saying this is that she worked all her life only to have it blow up in her face. Because she's been working not for herself, even though it seems that way, but for the illusion, right? For example, the American dream. Oh, I'm gonna hustle, grind in order to be rich or famous or own this or own that, you know? And I feel like we're striving for the wrong goals here. And that's where they want us, because they want us trapped. They want us thinking that we need them, but they are the ones that need us. Because without us, they don't get what they have. And the greatest illusion is, like, that they've set up is making it seem as though they have all the power, making it seem like you can't do anything without them. And that right there is called trauma bonding. I highly recommend watching educational videos on narcissism, specifically by these two content creators on YouTube, Dr. Ramani and Lisa A. Romano. Because once you start to grasp and understand how manipulative everything is and has been, you get to break down all these schemas within your mind and reevaluate things through a different lens. And that lens is having knowledge. Knowledge is power. That's why, God forbid, you eat from the tree of knowledge. Because once you gain knowledge, once you keep educating yourself and reminding yourself what's real and what's not, okay? Because, you know, you could read all the books in the world, you could watch all the educational videos in the world, but what's most important is for you to have discernment, to distinguish, observe and distinguish, and grasp at what resonates with you. And that means tapping into your intuition. And I know you're probably asking, well, how do I decipher intuition from anxiety? Well, sometimes intuition can send you warning signs, okay? The stomach is another brain, as you could say, okay? And it senses things. Your body is constantly receiving information and sending signals for you to be aware of. That's why they've had us focus all our attention, all our energy in any and everything external. Because once you leave your body, okay, because once you're up here in the head 24/7, out of your heart space, out of your body, you are so easy to control, manipulate, gaslight, annihilate, mutilate, whatever, everything. Take advantage of you completely once you are no longer aligned with mind, body, and soul. Okay? So it's important to start being more aware of what your body is telling you. Water has memory. Water crystallizes based on the vibration it is given, and it just crystallizes, okay? So just imagine we are 80% water. That is a lot of water. That is a lot of memory. Memory isn't stored in here. It's stored throughout our body. That's why if you're like me and you have body aches, specifically at night or whatever, okay? For example, my head aches at times. My knees hurt. Just everything hurts. I just ache so much. That's because your body is holding trauma and trying to process it. But since it's subconscious and you haven't brought it to your consciousness, it's a little bit difficult for it to be completely released. You know, because, for example, let's say you have nightmares. We'll call them nightmares, okay? Night terrors, whatever. And they bring up, let's say it's pretty much replaying certain traumas that have panned out in your life. 1323. For example, for me, being locked up, cooped up multiple times, or even raped. Okay? That comes up when I dream because it needs to be released. Of course, you also get messages and this and that. But my point is, like, one holds so much energy and yields so much power. Yet sometimes that power is used against our own self. We can be our own worst enemy based off the programming that we've received as children and so on and so forth. And deconstructing all of that, decolonizing your mind, can feel like the end of the world. It can feel so difficult and traumatizing and sad, and you feel rebellious and X, Y, and Z because, like, you just feel so betrayed and you don't know where to turn or who to trust but yourself. And that's not to say it's a bad thing, because that's how we evolve, that's how we grow, that's how we get to where we really need to be and grow bigger and stronger. I'm just pointing out the reality of it, which it is not an easy journey. But as Kali Uchis said in After the Storm, nothing good ever comes easy. I know times are rough, but winners don't quit, so don't you give up. Right? The sun will come out. Shit like that. So, feel the negative emotions. Because in this society, we have been groomed to believe that feeling anything other than happy is horrible, and it is a sin, and you should be ashamed, and you should feel guilt, and you should feel afraid, and so on and so forth. All these lower vibration energies. So as a child, you're so bright. You're so brilliant. I'm not saying you aren't anymore. 16, 19. The people that didn't want to evolve brought you down because they couldn't come with you. They were envious. So they brought you down to their level. So now you have to go back to that vibration. And that means going through this hell, right? Because you were up here. Now you're down here. And you need to go back. Okay? Heaven and hell, if you know, you know. Janae Aiko trying to smoke, right? So, it's vital that you listen to you. The real you, not the you that they've made you think you are. Not these perspectives people have implemented of who you are. That's why it's so important to go into hermit mode or isolate yourself, right? Which is actually Kali Uchis. It's Kali Uchis' album, Isolation. Okay? Which is interesting, because I didn't really pay attention to that until now. So, yeah. You have to isolate yourself to bring yourself back into oneness. But that's only if you choose to, okay? That's how I have done it. That's how it's been working for me. I'm sure it's different for people, but I'm assuming it's the same. So yeah, just wanted to share that. And that's kind of funny, because I wasn't going to record, but a bunch of information just decided to come out. Because I was originally just gonna rant about how shitty I've been feeling. But I ended up going on this enlightened speech, so that's dope. So, again, listen to your intuition, because I was like, ugh, I don't want to record. I don't have this, I don't have that. Limited lack mentality. So, you have to break out of that. Break your habits. Break those rules, okay? And get back to oneness. Get back to yourself. Because no one is you. They'll try to copy. Copycat trying to come on. Right? Copycat, Billie Eilish. But they'll never be you. There's only one you. So be yourself. You are loved. You are cared for. You are amazing. You are stunning. You are a star. A great big shining star. I'm a star. A great big shining star. Yay! I don't know if y'all seen that Vine. But yeah. So. Vibe. I think that's gonna be my sign for my channel. It's just gonna stand for V. Vibe. Bitch. Just vibe. Period. But I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go eat. Enjoy. Please have a good life. Enjoy your trip. Yeah. I love you. Ooh, 2002. That was dope.